This is Amateur Logic, episode 184, for August 25th, 2023. Amateur Logic is brought to you by Icom. From base stations to portable models, Icom has the best radio for working your favorite bands this summer. Whether outside enjoying sunny skies or inside by the AC, stay cool with Icom. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Amateur Logic. I'm George.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Emile.
And I'm Mike.
And it's great to be back with you again. We've got, some follow-up from this year's Huntsville Hamfest. Three of us were there in the Southern Hemisphere, along with a lot of our friends this year. We had a good time in Huntsville.
Oh, yeah, it was a great time.
Emile was there. Mike didn't make it this year. One year, though, you and Jerry got to come down.
I had big hopes, but it didn't transpire. I mean, summers are my busy time with work and all, but just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe next year. Maybe. We'll see.
So, wow, what's been going on, Tommy?
Just a Hamfest and trying to stay cool, man. The weather's been so hot. Just haven't done much outside stuff these days.
Oh, yeah, it's been like 106 most of the week.
Yeah, it's been terrible. So, other than playing around on the computer, I honestly haven't even been on the radio that much. I need to get on the radio some of these hot days where you can't get out.
Emile, what's been going on down there?
Well, I'm redoing the shack lately. I took some time to take things apart and roll back some coaxes and take things out of my entryway to the shack, and going to redo some things. And in the meantime, getting ready for the October Ozone Amateur Radio Club Hamfest coming up. So I'll probably have a couple of tables or two, and we're doing a forum as well. I got a talk over there. So getting ready.
What's the temperature like in the shack, Emile?
Yeah, the temperature is swinging pretty wildly with my window unit. That's one of the things I think I'm going to work on. Get some more cooling capacity possibly for that room, and do some better insulation and things. That's one of the reasons I'm redoing it, George.
Yeah. Yep. Mike, I know you've had a cool wave up there.
Yeah, I wasn't going to rub it in, but since you brought it up,
May as well.
August has been just fantastic. Mid 70s during the day and low 60s at night.
And that's not in Kelvin, right?
No, that's Fahrenheit.
Wow. Emile, your Hamfest is October 6th and 7th.
Thank you, Tommy. I saw that from Glenn. Thanks, Glenn.
Would you like us to put it in your Google Calendar?
Yeah, we might have to put an entry so I show up for my own forum.
Yeah. You could just have AI do it for you.
There you go.
Heck, you could have AI just go to Hamfest for you.
Yep. How do we even know you're here tonight?
It's cheap wardrobe.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get on into the show here. Mike, I think you're the first one up. I don't know. I don't think this is an email. This would be kind of long distance to be coming from email. But
no, but it's certainly newsworthy.
Yeah,
definitely.
This happened a couple of days ago, and congratulations to India for being the fourth country to land a spacecraft on the moon. So really a good accolade for them. And to make things even more difficult or more challenging, it's where they landed on the moon that was really the challenge, because where they landed, and actually I don't know if you can see on my background, but there's a picture of the moon, and they landed in the very south pole of the moon. Whoops, this way. The yellow dot is the Chandrayaan-3 lunar lander, and you can tell by the terrain there, or the topography, that there's loads of craters. And one of the primary missions of this particular launch was for detecting water on the moon. And they're hoping to find frozen water in the shadow areas of the craters, and that's why they chose the South Pole, where there's lots of craters, as you can see, and actually you can even see some shadows there. So you never know, they might detect actual physical evidence of water on the moon.
That's a good idea to try down there, because if there's any water on there, it's going to run down to the bottom like that before it drips off.
That's right.
Yeah, they were thinking ahead.
Tommy.
Yeah, the moon kind of looks
But
like.
it's pretty hard to land upside down, though.
Yeah, pretty much. You had actual friends at the Hamfest this year.
The hat, who's in the chat room tonight, K2PAG, found the cheap hat, the non-dog chewed cheap hat. I met John in person. That was great time. Great to meet him in person finally.
Is that hat from Vermont? It says VT on there.
VT, yes. This is the ambulance. If you check the ambulance button on checkout when you buy these hats, you get the ambulance edition.
So that hat's intended to be viewed through a rear view mirror on a car.
Yes. The first hat I saw was during breakfast at the hotel we were in, the Spring Hill Suites across the road from the place, and a few locals were there. This is a person who's in the Jefferson Amateur Radio Club, I believe, and we hooked up with him for breakfast. First hat I saw coming out of the elevators.
Yep, he's always at Huntsville. I got to speak with him to this last weekend as well.
And there's another Jefferson Amateur Radio Club with the I'm Not Don Wilbanks pin there. And Scott is also a local to our area in Metairie. And there's Chip, Sideways Chip. And I'm going to have to be careful when I'm talking to Chip, because he apparently talked to my father for quite some time and apparently got the lowdown in dirt. And speaking of my dad, he enjoyed the event. It's the first time he's ever been to one of these events. Well, actually, I take it back. He went to Rain because they had crawfish.
Yeah.
But this is the first pretty, decent-sized Hamfest he's been to, and you'll see a little bit later why he actually came with me here. So, good old Cheap Pops.
And he is not a ham.
He's not. There's a story there. My grandfather, his dad, was a operator, a radio and navigator on the C-47s in the South Pacific during World War II. And he wound up being avionics and radio electronics shop for the Air Force when he came back in the National Guard. So pretty cool story. I think I know where I got it from. You know I'm going to find the right tables at these places. So I definitely found the right tables here. Quite a good selection of each cheap. They even had a $3 bucket there, and I'm pretty sure that Heil headset is probably not in the $3 bucket.
Oh.
No, I tried to read the sticker on it. It didn't look like $3 to me, but I couldn't see it.
The flea market at Huntsville is phenomenal if you've never been. So, but you got to find the $1 and the $3. I didn't find any free ones though. I'm sure if I would have went Sunday, there would probably have been some free things.
Well, that's because there was somebody there that was cheaper than you and got to the goods before you did.
That's right. Yep.
You could have had a free right ear from a set of Monster earbuds that I
Uh-oh.
purchased there. There was a vendor that had a stack of them, man, all in the boxes. And I said, Monster earbuds for $10. You know, I don't have any Bluetooth earbuds. That's probably a deal. Well, it is, but apparently for $10 you only get the left ear.
That's the same guy you bought the battery that wouldn't charge from.
That is. But I also bought the IC7000 from
Oh, is
him.
that who you got it from?
Yeah, and it's been fine. Well, into the videos for tonight. Well, this first one is one a guy that Emile met up with there and had a little chat with about well, a little known digital mode.
All right, this is Emile, the cheap old man, and I found AJ4W, the name?
Joe Walker.
Joe Walker, who has got a story and something about the FT8 and how many grid squares you had worked.
Yeah, that's people try to work as many different grid squares. The whole world is broke down into 2 degrees by 1 degree grid squares. And VHF amateur radio operators try to work as many as they possibly can and get them confirmed.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to work on, but it's something else to get a grid square confirmed.
Gotta log them.
Oh, yeah. I wished I could work all of them, but I have worked and confirmed Greenland. Just this past June, I worked Isle of Man and Wales on 6 meters. So that's, if you look it up, you'll find out that's a pretty good trail.
Cycle 25 is starting to kicking.
Yeah, well, we want it to keep kicking.
What kind of equipment are you using?
I've got several pieces of equipment, but my pride and joy is a Yaesu FT101 MP. Right, yeah, they gave me this cap. So.
That's nice. And what? So the area you're covering is, you said Greenland and the UK. What other kind of work, like FT8 wise, are you doing? A lot of local. Like, what's the distance as usual?
Well, 6 meters is a band that it opens up to different parts of the world, different days. A friend of mine just worked in Hawaii the other day on it, so which is another friend worked in Japan, but I've never heard Japan on 6 meters. But I have worked Greenland and Iceland, so you know it's just according to what 6 meters is doing at that particular time when you're in there. Being in the right place at the right time.
That's right. And I've often heard it referred to as the magic band, so it's all about the timing.
It's all about it. If you never have caught a band opening on 6 meters, you don't know what you're missing.
That's awesome. I've worked quite a bit of FT8 in my cheap adventures with my radios. You know, you really can get, there's times where I know I cannot even see the signals on the bands, and you can still, the computer's decoding it. It's there.
Nothing's there, but the computer program combined with the FT8 program itself. Yeah, Joe Taylor, WSJT, weak signal, Joe Taylor.
That is an awesome suite of applications they wrote. And
let's don't leave out the fact that he won a Nobel Prize for developing that software system and gave it to the amateur radio community. So
he said the magic word, it's free. And the software is free, equipment not so much, and of course it takes the noggin to make it work for us. So that's an awesome story. I appreciate that talking with us.
Thanks for interviewing me.
All righty.
Roll Tide roll.
Oh, you had
know,
to bring it
brother.
up, Mike.
They roll this next Saturday.
So 6 meter FT8. Is that a little unusual?
I mean, it's some of the distance he was talking about is awesome. You just got to catch it right. And I guess since the cycle 25 is kicking, like we said, I mean, that's not too many. There's not too many FT8 contacts in my 6 meter log at the moment. So yeah, unique.
Well, I got a video here. This is from the Icom booth. You know, we always like to stop by there and visit a little bit. I'm at the Icom booth, of course, at Huntsville Hamfest. Ray, you've lost a little weight.
No, Ray's out in Tokyo this weekend, enjoying the sushi and whatnot over in Japan at the Tokyo Hamfest.
I saw him on some posts he had done on social media. Looks like he's having a good time out there.
That he looks like he does. I've seen a couple of posts as well. Posting, what was it, sushi dinner?
Yeah.
Yep. Saw that post.
And this is Greg Popovich, KF2M. And what do you do with Icom?
I work in the tech support department. I am one of the people that answer the phone when you call up. I specialize in the RSB01 product and LAN mobile products, and of course our IP products as well, like the VEPG4 and the IP radios.
So, how have things been going? Do they have gear in stock now, and is it
of course,
still
like everybody else? Yeah. Everybody's going through shortages, trying to get product from point A to point B. Just like everybody else, Icom is just as affected. We're trying our best to get as much product over to the U.S. as quickly as possible, but again, circumstances being as they are, we're having tough problems getting the products here.
So what would you say, I mean, I know you're not necessarily amateur salesman, what would you say is still or is the new, whichever, what's the hottest product you got going right now?
7300 and the 705. They seem to be the hot product with Icom.
Really, people are grabbing onto the 705s.
Yes, they are. They like the low power for activations for POTA, SOTA. So it's a quite popular radio, along with the 7300 and the 7610 as well. That's another popular product with Icom.
Yeah, I can see that 7300. I mean, it's been years now that it's just changed things.
Yes, in 2016 when that radio was released, it was a game changer. It was the first SDR radio released from Icom, and it just took off.
Do you do any bench work there, or are you strictly...
Strictly tech support, though I do have my own bench for testing products, testing things like that. Occasionally I do some repairs for the tech support equipment that's there in the New Jersey office, which is where I work from.
What's the next Hamfest?
That I don't know. For me, probably be Mullica Hill in New Jersey, which is where I'm from. That's where our Icom office is on the East Coast.
I don't know if I saw you at Dayton this year or not.
Yes, I was there. Yeah, it was my first Dayton.
What'd you think?
Oh boy, a little overwhelming at first.
Yeah.
Massive people, very big Hamfest. Now, I'm used to the Jersey Hamfest, like the Sussex Hamfest and Mullica Hill, which are fairly large, about as large as Huntsville, but Dayton was a whole new experience.
What do you think about Huntsville?
Oh, love it. People here are wonderful, very friendly people. Really enjoy it here.
Everything's indoors, too.
That's true. That's true, compared to Dayton.
What amateur product do you use?
Okay, Icom Products, got a whole load of them. 9100, 705, of course, 51A. Let's see, what else? T7H, 7000 that I have in my Jeep.
I love 7000. I got two of them.
Great radios. Great radios. Can't get enough of it.
Thanks for talking with us, Greg. It was good to meet you.
Nice meeting you, George.
And I hope to see you, well, it'll probably be Dayton next year.
Oh, you never know. Never know. It's wherever they ask me to go to.
7-3.
73, you take care.
Nice chatting with Greg there.
Yeah.
Real
Seems like
nice
I may
guy.
have talked to him on the phone before, possibly.
I remember seeing him at Dayton now.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I talked with him there, I remember seeing him there. Yeah, Ray is, I don't know if he's back in the country yet or not. I think they were having a big time over there in
I think
Japan.
I saw him. I think I saw he was at the airport, headed to the airport to come back.
Okay, cool. We're going to take a quick break and come right back because we're not even halfway done yet. We got a lot more video to go. From base stations to portable models, Icom has the best radio for working your favorite bands this summer. Whether outside enjoying sunny skies or inside by the AC, stay cool with Icom. Explore the world of microwave with Icom's new SHF portable, the IC905. This all-mode rig covers 2 meters, 70 centimeters, 1.2 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, 5.6 gigahertz, and with an optional CX-G10 transverter, 10 gigahertz. This transceiver also has a few industry firsts up its belt. It's the first to support the 5 major global bands from VHF to SHF. The first Power over Ethernet powered RF module designed to be at the base of the antenna to eliminate signal loss, and the first to be compatible with AmateurLogic.TV in analog FM mode. Other features include large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time high-speed spectrum scope and waterfall display, easy digital mode settings, supplied high-performance GPS antenna, full D-Star functions for DV and DD mode, and an SD card slot. Aim higher and enter the world of SHF. The Icom IC7300 is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design that will far exceed your expectations. This innovative HF transceiver digitizes RF before various receiver stages, reducing the generated inherent noise in different IF stages. This is the radio that changed the way entry-level HF is designed. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and SD memory card slot. The real HF fun starts here. Create your own band opening with the IC9700. This radio brings direct sampling to the UHF-VHF weak signal world. The IC9700 is an all-mode transceiver loaded with innovative features that are sure to keep you busy. Expect top performance on field day with Icom's IC9700. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR can pick out faint signals in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The Icom 7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that's changed the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. RF direct sampling, 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receiver, and dual digicell. For more information about all the great Icom radios, visit icomamerica.com/amateur. Is this an actual email?
This is an email, not an email. We got an email too, right over here.
Yeah.
But we got an email right here.
What does it say?
Well, first of all, this is from my friend Lee, KB6LEE. It's about Blue Eddy, my Blue Eddy device I used at Field Day. So anyway, it says, I'm a big fan of ALTV. Thanks to you and George, Emile, and Mike for doing that. I'm wondering about using the Blue Eddy EB3A during Field Day. Did I hear a gong from Emile? Haha. But it's old man compliant, cheap old man compliant. Where did you get the connectors for the DC 5521 connectors? Connections, I'm sorry. I can only find ones with pigtails that are much too small for 10 amp at 12 volts. I've seen connectors with screw lugs, but I can't find them anywhere. It seems the screw lugs would allow 12 gauge wire, which would be the right size for the task. How did you connect the radio? As a side note, I'm thinking of using the EB3A as a UPS for my rig full time. Maybe these topics are something you can cover in future ALTV episode. By the way, would you consider a side video from a viewer like me on something like this? Thanks for all you guys put into this and have day jobs. Lee, 73, KB6LEE. The connectors I used were the ones with the little screw terminals on it, and I used it with my 705, which doesn't draw near the 10 amps that device can put out on those little coaxial connectors. I did look on Amazon for some. Originally, I was going to make some cables, and I couldn't find any. I found these on eBay, and I checked with George where he gets his parts. Parts Express, I think, was one of them. And where was the other one, George?
Jamico.
Yeah, Jamico. But I did see Parts Express has them for about $1 a piece. But I couldn't get them in time for my segment and for Field Day. So I just used those little ones, which were plenty big enough for powering that little 705. It doesn't use much current at all.
Yeah, I usually use the screw terminal ones these days.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few pigtails of the ones like you showed there in the photo, but screw terminal ones, that's what they're using on all these LED lighting projects and things. So I figure they carry a little bit of current. I don't know about 10 amps
Yeah,
though.
I'm not sure about 10 amps. But the ones with the pigtails on them, like he's talking about, they're already made. Like somebody cut it off the end of a cable, and you can just join the wires together.
Yep.
But I like the ones like I just showed there. I used to get those at Radio Shack. Those were size M. M as in Mike. I remember the size because I used to buy a bunch of them.
And I had not planned on mentioning it, but now that you talked about that, I stopped by the Bio booth there at Huntsville and salivated over some of those batteries there. They're about the same size as I would expect for a battery with that current, but they're much, much lighter.
Yeah, they weigh nothing.
And they had something there that's kind of like your Blue Eddy thing. Very similar to it. And I was quizzing the guy about it. And it looked good and had the capacity. Price was, it was, I guess, not unreasonable for something like that. But he kind of steered me toward some of their other batteries. And they said for, ham radio applications, we kind of prefer these other batteries over here. So I'm thinking, for high current key downs, probably those type of batteries aren't necessarily the best.
It's probably not ideal. It depends on how much current. Now on the 705, it's worked out just fine.
Be fine for that, but a 100-watt rig might be a different story.
Yeah, and as far as using it as a UPS, it does have the functionality built in. It switches, but I noticed when I played around with that, the light blinks and you can see the flash. So I don't know if the switching's fast enough. Maybe I will do a segment on that and experiment with that. See what the delay is or something. But anyway,
Betty's were on a pretty good discount during the Amazon Prime Day, and I would be on the lookout on a Black Friday or Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
I'm real happy with mine, but I like my 50 amp battery that I made too. But
yeah, I like your 50 amp battery that you made.
Yeah. Oh, and his other part of his question was about accepting segments from viewers on that. We've done that in the past, so we'd be open to looking at it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I got an email. No, I don't. I've got a video. I don't have an email.
Do you make a video of the email?
No, it's not that. But it is a video of someone you might recognize. Huntsville Hamfest is always a good place to get together with good friends, and of course, Richard Stubbs, one of the best.
Hey, George. Good to see you and Tommy again. Always a pleasure.
So, Richard, how many years have you been with MFJ now?
This is 34 years, I think, and I may be adding one or two or subtracting one or two, but yeah, I think it's been about that.
And MFJ's been around, what, 51, 52?
50. This is the 51st year that we're in now. We just turned 50 last year, so that was 1972 was when he started the business, and still here.
Wow, that's quite a while. The younger people out there, new hams, may not know what all MFJ does, but you've got 2 or 3 products. Can you just give us a brief idea of?
Look at Dennis. Yeah. 2 or 3 products add up to about 2,000 products overall. But yeah, we're still making the SWR analyzers, the manual tuners, the automatic tuners, the SWR watt meters, the dummy loads, all the essential products that you need to make up an amateur station for testing or for tuning and antennas galore. As you know, we got a bunch of antennas. You've put up a few of them over your years. and of course had a lot of fun doing it. That little comical video you did with the black and white version was hilarious. And anyway, yeah, we came out with a new one now. This is going to be fun because I'm going to send this back with Tommy. This reveals a little tuning chart on the bottom of here. Let's see if we can get this to come open. Right there, you add this on here. You got 40 through 6 meters. Hey, Jocelyn, there's another weirdo.
That's who we hang out with.
Yeah, we hang out with a lot of guys that like to do the Spock thing, but anyway, you set that up. That can go 40 through 6 meters, and it's a true POTA antenna because it all telescopes down. So, and I hear Tommy does a lot of that stuff, and it's collapsible. He can go in his backpack, and he can carry something out and set up an antenna in seconds, and be on the air. So, these things are going like hotcakes. So, we're going to send Tommy back with one of these to play with.
What do those go for?
$149.95 for a 40 through 6 meter vertical that's collapsible, truly portable, and I think that's impressive. Yeah. So yeah, so we still are having a few new things come out, but you know, MFJ's been around forever because most of the products that you have over here are essential tools for the ham radio station. That's for sure.
So it's not just MFJ, y'all are a group of companies. You've got several others as well.
Ameritron's still hanging in there. We got all the solid state amps. People still buy tube amps to get some real high power out on their stations. And then of course we got high gain, rotators, vertical antennas, beam antennas. We added Cushcraft, Mirage and Vectronics. We just got some Mirage amps back in finally. 200 watt, 2 meter amps, and we sold 2 of them. I brought 2 of them. We sold both of them. So evidently there's still a need for that too as well.
Tuners were always a big thing with MFJ. Do y'all still sell tuners?
Right there behind you, George. There's all the manual tuners, and then the next section over, and then the automatic tuners are still the rage. That 939 that you advertised forever has been an awesome vehicle. And super fast, nanosecond tuning, and 1.5 to 1 SWR in most cases. So yeah, very effective.
What Hamfest will you be at this year? I know you're here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the company decided not to do all the small Hamfest anymore, which I loved. And as you and I know, we got to eat crawfish together. Oh, yeah. We got to sing together. You know, I think you didn't join in on the singing. That was Emmett. That was Emmett. Maybe Tommy did it. No, Jocelyn. Oh, Jocelyn's son did it one time. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we've done a few things at the smaller Hamfest you don't get to do at Huntsville and Orlando and Dayton, but we just do those 3 now. So you'll see us in February, you'll see us in May, and you'll see us in August. So
pretty good spacing.
Good amount of time. It gives us a chance to get everything ready, and get everybody trained, and get going for it. So that's pretty awesome.
Product back in stock now?
Product back in stock. We're starting to build stock. The amplifiers, I actually brought amplifiers for the first time in almost 3 years. So we're actually generating some stock now, whereas before you had to order it and then get back ordered and wait for a few months. But now it's starting to come around very well.
Richard, always fun to catch up with you at these events and whenever we can. I need to make it up to Starkville again and just see what's going on.
Yeah, we'd love to have you and Tommy back up. And if Jocelyn could make it, that would be even impressive also. He needs to come down sometime.
Yeah. He'll come down for the snipe hunt maybe.
Yeah, I talked to Mike Morneau just recently. He put me in he reminded me of your 3 Amigos picture. Yeah. But he put me in, I forgot what it was, but it was quite entertaining. That guy is a good Photoshop editor.
So he's got a lot of experience with it. A lot of good material to work with too, though.
No doubt. Especially with you guys, you look good as 3 Amigos, that's for sure.
All right, Richard, great to see you again, man.
Good to see you, George. Take care of yourself.
I should have put the picture of 3 Amigos and had a little sparkle by the teeth or something when he said that.
Yeah. Mike. Shout out on your photoshopping skills there.
Yeah, I guess I've become infamous if I wasn't already.
I think every avatar I have on all my social media is something Mike did.
Yeah. That's great stuff, man.
Yep.
Yep.
I need to
Yeah,
get all those.
incidentally, that Three Amigos was the one that started it all. I don't know how old that one is, but it was the first one
Really?
back in the Google Plus days.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And let's just be clear, you don't own Photoshop.
No,
you don't-
I don't own. It's like Kleenex. And speaking of Kleenex, Kleenex is pulling out of Canada. The announcement was made, I think, yesterday. I guess the parent company, Kimberly Clark, decided that they're not making enough money, and Canada's not a big enough market to make it worth
There's
their
not
while.
enough runny noses in Canada?
Well, that's what somebody said, and they said, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's Kleenex, but we have facial tissue, so it's one of those terms that everybody uses, and it's an actual brand."
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to start calling it something else now.
Mike sent me this, and when I first saw the title on it, I was thinking, man, this sounds kind of like a joke because, right now they've got some fiber optic cables off of the coast of Africa that were cut by falling rocks in the ocean.
Really?
Yeah. And they've got a ship over there repairing them right now.
Oh.
So that's when Mike sent me this post right here, I was thinking it might have been related. Fiber optic cables are natural earthquake detectors. But no, that's not what it was about.
Totally different, huh?
Yeah. Fiber optic cables make up a vast underground nervous system that meets our growing demand for high-speed internet and communication services. However, signals in the cables can occasionally suffer vibrations from cars driving overhead, nearby construction, or even earthquakes. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Researchers have previously proposed harnessing those convert the thousands of kilometers of underground cables into sensitive seismic arrays. In a new study, researchers from the California Institute of Technology show that fiber optic cables not only detect quakes, they can measure nuances and complexities of the seismic event as well. In one instance, using a 100-kilometer stretch of cable, the researchers were able to pinpoint the time and location of 4 smaller mini-quakes that made up a magnitude 6 earthquake. I have never thought about that, but I guess, maybe the cable's getting bounced around. It's changing.
They did, and they talked about that, I think, in another article that I read about that, where they first came up with the idea from cars driving over a road where the fiber optic cables traveled underneath, and they were picking up the vibrations as the cars went across.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know, George. That story sounds like it's on shaky ground.
Could be.
Boom.
Yep.
Give yourself a rim shot.
It's the end of the first day here at Huntsville Hamfest. Well, it's almost the end of it. Standing here with part of this year's posse, of course, Tommy.
Hello? Yeah. I guess I'm part of the posse.
You are.
Yeah. So
It's your camera and microphone.
well, here you're in the middle. You hold the mic.
Emile, of course.
I'm the cheapest part of the posse for sure.
So, this year's haul, what did you come along with? I see you got a big bag there.
Well,
It says ARRL.
you know,
Be cheap.
you know, George, I always try to renew my membership with the ARRL to keep things good with them, and it's kind of my expiration always falls around this time, so it just kind of works out good for me. But as far as the haul, I'm pretty sure I came away with the cheapest haul possibly, because I needed a connector. There's a story here. This is an N connector to a BNC from a receiver that I picked up for $5 from a estate sale somewhere else in Slidell. So, that's what I needed.
So, did you pay more for the rig or for the adapter?
I think they're the same price, so I'm right on par with being cheap all the way around. So $360 cheapness right here.
Okay.
That works out. And of course, our friend Jocelyn from up in the Cincinnati area. Well, I think you were here last year and we got together.
Yeah. I was here last year. We talked a little bit about Chris, how he was doing. And I'm here again this year with Youth on the Air to promote the camp that we do every year to try to keep the youth engaged in amateur radio.
And since Chris and the youth weren't here this year, we had to cancel the snipe hunt. It was going to be kind of hot out there anyway.
Yeah.
Anybody?
No, I'm not touching that one.
Okay. So Jocelyn, any purchases?
Yes. Biano battery, 3 amp hours for my KX2 so I can do more parks on the air. And then that 1898 we just saw at MFJ. And then what was the other thing? Renewed my membership like Emile because mine falls in October, so I'm good. That was about it. And some zip cord for my solar panel.
Okay.
So, not too bad. If you don't count the membership, it was pretty cheap.
Well, I bought some flea market stuff. I'm trying to think of what it was I did buy. I bought 2 little UTC audio transformers, and there goes Charlie Wooten.
There he goes. You probably saw him in the corner.
Yeah. I bought 2 little UTC audio transformers that paid $1 a piece for them. Those things on eBay probably sell for $30 or $40 a piece.
Yeah.
So I felt good about that, Emile.
That's good. That's good.
And I bought something else, and I can't remember what it was.
Oh, component tester.
Oh yeah, I bought one of those little, it was a Fish 88 something, I think, component tester.
Yeah, we've shown them on the show before.
Yeah, we've shown them before. I've got one, but I keep telling my son about it, and he works on some guitar amplifiers and things from time to time. And I've been trying to explain to him what it is and where he can get it. Some guy was selling them for $19 with the case and all here, so I just bought him one of those. So Tommy, what did you get?
I had a shopping list this time. I had one thing on it, heat shrink tubing, and I bought some heat shrink tubing for a total of $5. So now we're in a neck and neck with the cheap old man. I think I'm going to just consider myself an apprentice here pretty soon. Trying. Yeah, that's
You're
it.
getting there. I might buy something else. I've got to go look at those Bio-NO batteries. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to just, I don't know, I'm ready to spring, but I need to look.
You need to look. The show special is pretty decent, free charger. The batteries are about what they sell in no shipping, so it's not bad. I've had one for 8 years, and I got a new one, and then I'm getting my 3rd one, so good product.
The 8-year one's still good? Still working?
Yeah, it used to be 12 amps. It's probably about 10 now, 10 and a half, but it's got its cycles. It's going through a lot of stuff, but still works like a champ. So gets me on the air, 100 watts, about 100 watts for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how active I am.
So Saturday at a Huntsville Hamfest, what do you think this year? How are we looking attendance-wise and quality-wise?
So I'm always loving those flea market tables, and I did find a few tables that had the magic numbers on them, if any numbers at all. And you'll see some of that in some of the photographs I took. But I do kind of have a pre-confession. You know, I'm kind of holding out right now. Gigaparts has a really good display of Heil headsets back there. And I almost pulled the trigger on one from my 991 Go box that I made, the cheap old Go box. And they didn't have the adapter cable for the RJ45 connector, the modular connector for the cable. So I didn't quite pull the trigger, but something tells me it might happen. It might not be cheap old man compliant, but it might happen.
Well,
the box wasn't cheap old man compliant to start with. You can call it the cheap box because you put the sticker on it, but I don't think it was cheap.
True that. Can't deny it.
So everybody I've talked to here said it's a good crowd this year. They have been impressed with it.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. It's been a decent crowd.
So I'm going to be back here tomorrow. There's a lot of people, a lot of friends around here. We've seen Don Wilbanks today. We've seen Ted Randall. Just saw Charlie Wooten. Wayne, KG5RE, is here somewhere. We turned him out this morning, and yeah, we don't know where he is. But he's around here somewhere. Chip, K9MIT, is here somewhere.
I still have not met Chip, so we'll have to fix that.
Maybe you back in the morning?
I'm back here tomorrow till about noon, and then we're going to see how long we're going to stay.
Yeah.
So there's still tomorrow. The night is fairly young.
Nice.
That's exactly right. I took it from the master there.
Well, a lot of other friends and people we've seen here today as well. Some we know are here, but we just haven't run across them yet.
They're hiding pretty good.
They are. Tommy, you want to do the rap?
Well, no, I'm not going to do that.
Break? Just do a break dance.
Yeah, I'm going to break something, all right. Well, it's fun. It's been a fun Hamfest. I'm going to have to go back home this evening, unfortunately, so you guys cover it for me tomorrow. If you see any good deals, cheap deals, remember me.
$5 worth of heat shrink.
We tied.
That you hadn't been to a big Hamfest in how many years?
Since before COVID, whenever that was, BC.
We've got a little while here yet. We've got to do an intervention, I think.
Definitely an intervention. Although I don't think I'm going to be able to pull any triggers on my side because tomorrow we're going to go over to I'm going to take Peter's advice and head over to the Rocket Museum because I've never been. My dad's here with me, so we're going to head over that way and see it.
You got to see that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's all we have to say about that.
That's it. That's it, folks. That's all, folks.
Drop the mic.
No, please don't drop that one. That one's mine.
Fun times.
Oh yeah, it's great. Chip's pretty elusive, man. I tried to find Chip again, but I never did run across him.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him one more time. But,
yeah.
Speaking of confessions, I have a confession to make. I was feeling sorry for myself because I wasn't at the Hamvention, so I got online onto Amazon and I picked up this really cool battery pack. It's a Lifeboat battery pack, 6 amp hour.
Oh, nice.
And it output 12 volts at 5 amps. So should be good for my little portable rig.
Nice.
It also outputs 9 volts and as well as 5 volts.
So is it cost compliant?
I would say so, considering it's Lifeboat batteries in there. I think all in all it was about $56. So
Canadian?
Canadian. I thought that was pretty good.
That's about 40
bucks. With the
US.
charger.
Nice. That's nice. I looked at those back when we were using the wireless mics that we were hauling the big receiver box around with. I was looked at getting one of those to power my receiver.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, well, it was fun meeting up with everybody. Yeah. Anyway, while we were,
probation.
I'm on probation.
Not quite double probation
Secret?
yet, Mike.
It's not even secret. So it's hardly a threat. Even.
No, it's not secret when they make a sign for it.
Oh
no.
I bought a few things there. I told you about my experience with the $10 left ear only monster earbuds. That was going to be my deal there, man. Just didn't pan out, so I chunked them.
Well, they were cost compliant.
Well, they were, but if you just put one in your left ear, you're just going to walk in circles. So it didn't work for me.
I saw Wayne walk right past the camera before you said that about Wayne.
Yeah,
you walked right past. Yeah.
Wow.
I did get a couple other things though. This, well, I've typically, I say typically, no, because I've got a nice Comet antenna on my pickup, but on my Explorer, I've got a cheaper tram antenna, or Browning, or MFJ, or the dual band antennas that everybody's got that looks the same. I've got one of those on my Explorer, and I typically use one of the cheaper metal magnetic antenna mounts for it. And, it's good magnet in it. They hold good. They work well, but they rust after 2 or 3 years. So I just happened to run by this. And I know my Comet, the one I've got on my truck, it is not an NMO. It's takes an SO239 to screw into. So I had to buy the Comet mount, and I like it, and it's plastic. I found one for an MNO mount there. This is a Comet one. Plastic top's got rubber rim around it. It's sealed on the bottom. Yeah, it's a little more than the cheap ones. Not real expensive though, but I got that.
That was close.
Yeah.
I remember we were always poking fun at Tommy for not wanting to drill that hole to put the NMO mount in his vehicle.
Well, Emile,
using magnets too.
I'm about to totally redeem myself.
I don't know. It's too late for that.
No. It's not too late.
Okay.
Because I made another purchase.
Oh.
I walked through the flea market, and I came up with a little purchase here. These are UTC brand audio transformers. And 600, I believe these are 600 to 600 ohms. So good for line oscillation. They're used in a lot of audio gear. UTC is a reputable brand. I bought these for $1 a piece. Because I knew they were worth more than that. I got home and did a little searching on eBay. Found somebody on there selling them for $99 a piece. So you need to take my name off of that list.
All right, I crossed it out. I wrote it in ink.
Before you do that, we should ask George if you put at least a continuity tester across the primaries or the secondary and the primaries.
Yeah, do they work?
Oh, I haven't
see
checked
if they had
them.
any opens.
I'm sure they work though. And I will get around to checking them, but I've got some others of these. And I've got some others, ATC brand. That's like a fetish there. I collect good quality audio transformers. You never know when you're going to need one. And yeah.
That's the first time I've seen one packaged like that. It reminds me of the ballast starters off of fluorescent.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, except it doesn't have the two little little terminals on the end of it.
Yeah, but it looks
hey,
same
maybe that's
size.
what somebody did. They soldered a couple of wires onto.
No, I don't think so.
Audio transformer.
So when they hook this up, this is going to be really funny.
Yeah. They're hard to find, so if you think you might need some of these in the future, like if you're going to be hooking an external mixer to your ham rig, you may want one of those. Check the Hamfest. I always look around, and I've bought a number of them at Hamfest, but you don't see them that much anymore.
Get some here for $98.
Yep. A pair.
That man's a businessman.
Yeah.
I like the way you think, Tommy.
We got one more video from Huntsville. What is this, Tommy?
Yeah. We were hanging around there, and I was trying to find him earlier, but we ran across Mark Brown. He's the chairman of the Huntsville Hamfest, and got a chat with him for just a few minutes. Well, we ran into our friend Mark here. You're the chairman of the Huntsville Hamfest. We had you on here last year for a few minutes. It's good to see you again.
It's good to have a few minutes. It's been a very busy day so far, but very good.
Yeah, you've been a busy man. We tried to catch you earlier, and you were just buzzing all over the place.
No difficulties, but just logistics issues. Little things here. Guy left his coupons, his prize coupons at the hotel room. But he's wearing a hat with his call sign on it. We gave him the prizes.
Oh, well, that's the right thing.
Little things. I mean, if that's the biggest problem we have on a busy Hamfest weekend, we're doing good.
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of busy, it's kind of thinned out a little bit, which is almost the end of the day, which is kind of normal for any Hamfest. But it was really packed in here earlier today. What do you think about the attendance?
Since we expanded into this entire South Hall, none of us on the committee have a really good feel for what the numbers are. It feels about like last year, maybe a little better. So last year we had about 5,420, maybe a little better this year. We'll know in about a week and a half when we count and verify the attendance numbers.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it wasn't a little bit more. I know that the flea market area in the back was just absolutely packed and crazy.
I just came from there. The flea market is still very vibrant, and I'm encouraging all those flea market vendors to sell their stuff, because we help folks move in and move out. If they sell that stuff, we don't have to help move it out.
I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah, but it's a good problem to have. There's just a good vibe in the room today, similar to post-COVID. Yeah. If you remember that, people are excited to be here, and we're delighted to have everyone.
Yeah, well, we're all glad to be here. It's been a great Hamfest as always. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to head back tonight, but George will be here tomorrow for a while.
Yeah, this youth lounge just continues to astound me at the popularity and the number of kids going through the youth lounge. One of the things we started new this year, we let the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts in uniform come in free. We didn't really advertise it because we just decided kind of at the last minute. We thought we would have between 2 and 5 radio merit badge kids come in here. 27 registered, 23 I think showed up for the radio merit badge session, and so we're very excited about that. We need more young people in the hobby, and that's a great step in that direction.
Oh yeah, that's a great source of new hams for sure.
Yeah.
And I failed to say your call sign, N4CBD, Mark?
BCD.
BCD. Okay. Anyway, appreciate the hospitality. It's been world's friendliest Hamfest. It's
that's our
the
trademark.
mantra. Yeah.
That's our trademark, and we try to live by that.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true.
Thomas and George, thank you for having me on the show, and we'll see you back next year.
Oh, absolutely. We'll be here. Good to talk to you.
Thank you, man.
I stayed in the Embassy Suites this year, which is connected to the Von Braun Center.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled my car in Friday afternoon late. I parked it. The only time I left the building is Wayne and I walked over Friday night to a pizza place that was just, a couple of blocks away from the Von Braun Center and had a pizza. And then I didn't move my car. We just walked there. Then I stayed inside the complex there for the whole show and didn't leave till Sunday afternoon. So I pretty much could have stayed in air conditioning through the whole weekend.
Oh, man.
Except to walk over there for the pizza. And it wasn't really that hot there. So.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't near as hot over there as it is here.
No. Emile, you kind of hinted earlier that there was a reason that your father came with you this year to Huntsville.
There is a reason, and that reason is the Rocket Museum over there. I've never been, never went, can't say that anymore, and I got to go with the pops on it. So got quite a bit of pictures here. So yeah, this is a screen that was in front of the planetarium show for the space telescope that's sitting out there at L2, and lots of Apollo and other rockets sitting out there. You can't quite understand the scale of this until you see it in person. You see the people down there at the bottom.
Yeah, well, and you can see it coming down the interstate, and you got an idea of the scale then.
Yes. Yeah, you can't quite miss this. Yep, there's quite a few different rockets sitting out there in the fields that you can walk right up to. And of course, if you walk right up to them, you can't see them with the camera. So I took that one from pretty far away. But this center is a NASA center, of course. It's one of their official visitor centers like we have down here. And there it is, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. Now, some people might look at this. Let me ask y'all a question. There's a few of these photos if you want to go through them. But what plane is this, Tommy or George or Mike?
That's a SR-71 Blackbird.
SR-71 Blackbird?
You would think that, wouldn't you? But it's not. This is the faster one.
Oh.
Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
I learned something too.
I never knew the SR-71 was slow.
Exactly. But this is basically the CIA's model of this one, which was the A-12 ox cart.
Is that the one right outside the entrance?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sleek look from the back there, man.
That's an awesome looking machine right there, brother.
Yeah. Looks like they fired it up.
Yep. I think I remember reading somewhere that it was flying around 90,000 feet most of the time, and no weapons, of course, mainly fuel,
camera,
and faster. Yeah, exactly. That's the part that got me. Faster than SR-71. Like, wait a minute, what?
Wow.
Yeah, that little cone there modifies the air going into it. Now, when you first walk into the place, there's a bunch of artifacts there, really interesting history and pieces parts. This is like a moon drink. I didn't know there was one, but
moon sauce.
It's moon sauce. Just in case something went wrong, they had sauce. And there you go. This is a modern space toilet. Looks pretty accommodating.
Hey, wait a minute. It looks like the vent off an RV.
Yeah.
I think I'll wait till I get home.
Or Wi-Fi hotspot.
It's an AP. I get it. I get
actually
it, George.
does look like a Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I got one of those Wi-Fi panel antennas like that in my shed.
Apparently, I'm thinking some people are gonna be eating bugs because there sure was a lot of insect stuff in this main entrance in the Rocket Center. I don't know what that's all about, but maybe on Mars we're gonna be eating bugs. Maybe. And growing hydroponics here. They had some hydroponics towers there. And landing, there you go. I think this is the one that they're sending back, Artemis, right? And I think this is the one that people are taking rides on now into space, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe this was, I forget what exactly. This is Boeing's, or the one that they were met up with up there.
Oh, yeah?
It's kind of like without its outer shell, but that's what it looks like underneath. The ULA program, different rockets. This is right as you walk in, all the newer tech. I believe that's the SLS stuff where they're launching all sorts of things.
Yeah, there's some stuff. This is new stuff. I haven't seen some of this. Has been there since I've been there. I think the last time I went was probably.
So here we're getting into the big haul, the Apollo. You can see the engines up to the left there, but that rocket is one of von Braun's first types, or the V2, right? Well, Germany, I want to say they. So this is an interesting story, something I learned. That's the actual bike that von Braun surrendered, I believe, to the Russians on. That's the little white flag there, and he rode up to him and surrendered and wound up in the United States eventually.
And I thought you were going to say that's the one E.T. was riding on.
Could be, George.
Yeah, there's no basket on the front.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Elliot. It's not Elliot's. That's von Braun's. And there you go. Some of the capsules from before the Apollo missions. What was it? Mercury, and what was the one before or after Mercury? Gemini, maybe.
Yes.
Might have those crossed. But anyway, they had some. They were showing us how cramped it was in there for these guys. There you go. There's a Mercury things where they were working on that escape top rocket at the top there. You see a little tower.
Yeah.
And also cramped. There's our tour guide there showing us the ropes and showing us how cramped up it is and just the size in general. Another one, a two-seater there, right? It's got two people in there. And this is a smaller, like a mock-up, I believe, of the Apollo, one side. And right above it is the actual thing. And there you go. You don't want to be anywhere near this when things happen, for sure. But the scale of this doesn't do it justice. It's amazing to see this in person.
Yep.
And there's all the pieces, parts, and the different stages towards the bottom. Mostly fuel. They were giving us some numbers that pretty much blew my mind on the rates of how much fuel it burns, how fast, and how much weight it loses in the first few 40 miles or so. This is just a model mock-up of it, and the actual thing is above us. So he walked us through each of these stages. Again, most of it's fuel, some jet fuel, some hydrogen, oxygen, you name it. And these parts are those towards the end or the bottom of the rocket. And then another stage, you can see these are smaller engines, even though it's still huge in person. And you can see those little, I think those little pods, the round spears there. They use different fuel for each stage and different things to stabilize or keep it cold, and also nitrogen, I want to say, to do some other things here. So pretty interesting stuff. And finally, going up towards the top, you got one engine and some more of those spears. You can see it, probably from seeing the videos. And here's an interesting picture of the module right before the lunar module at the very top of the rocket. This is what controls the whole thing and synchronizes everything, and gyroscope and computer. It's got its own little module. There you go. You can see a little bit closer picture of that ring. There's some amazing stuff happening with some efficient operation and code happening. You'll see.
It's a minimal computer power too. Like less computer power than your phone.
You'll see that a little bit later. Yep.
Yeah, I think I see a UTC audio transformer on there.
You pulled it off of here, George? And there's the very top. This is the part they come back home in, right? If you look at it, and it still has the escape thing on it, just in case something goes wrong. And on the floors, as you're walking under it, they show you where all the different landings were. So there you go. Mike has that picture behind him as well, including the new stuff from.
All the blue dots are the actual manned mission landings.
It's a pretty neat. So here's the actual one. I forget which mission it was. Apollo. Was there a 16? I want to say that's what I remember him saying.
There was an Apollo 16. I think that was the last one, actually.
Yeah. So this is one of the actual Apollo's missions, and you can see the parachute there behind it, and pretty hefty mechanical devices here, and that's the door to it. Had to get a close-up of some of the stuff that was on that door. That's amazing. As a joke, the tour guide asked us all, hey, what do y'all think happened here? And we all, of course, said, oh, it must have burned up in reentry. He says, no, we dropped it when we brought it here.
Great.
So the scarring is definitely the burning, but the big missing part. So there's a moon rock, one of the actual moon rocks they brought back. And different parts of the spacesuit. At first, I thought this was all the different, different types of suits. No, this is one suit. They custom made these suits for each person, and it has layers upon equipment on top of those layers. So this is one suit. Everything you see there for one astronaut.
The left one looks like the Lost in Space suits.
Yep, it does.
Wow.
And they had some really neat control systems, displays. Oh, there you go. Rescue when they have to fish them out ocean, because they love landing them in oceans, right?
Yeah.
That looked like a life-size version of the Mousetrap game.
I don't know what this is. Okay, the lunar module. Okay, yeah, they simulated a lot of things for them here on Earth, and that's one of them. And there you go. Y'all might recognize some of these for you campers out there. But the
space trucking, wasn't that? Wait a minute, wasn't that in Spaceballs?
Yeah,
that was a Winnebago, wasn't it?
It's the Airstream, right? When they came back, they were worried about viruses, right? So they quarantined the astronauts. And this is what they did. They were building all those Airstreams from all the leftover planes from World War II, and this is what they used as a quarantine when they got back.
Wow.
And you can see there's just some things. There's some audio equipment for you, George.
Yeah, it looks like it's either a Sony or Marantz.
Yep.
I think.
And some of the crew quarters in it.
Yeah, they didn't have this one last time I visited there.
There it is. Y'all remember Skylab?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They got a full one of mock up here. I don't think there's anything left of some of them, and you'll see why a little bit later here. This is the inside of Skylab. I said, man, that looks like a dentist chair. The tour guide told us they just really spun them around in here to see what effects or gravity. I don't know exactly what they were doing, but that was an interesting look inside of the Skylab. That's looking up inside of the Skylab and inside of it. Yep. That's not a toilet either.
And that's a shower?
Maybe so. So I don't think the Skylab was up there too long, and this is what's left of what came back down.
Yeah, I remember it burned up coming back down, didn't it?
Yeah, you remember that? And this piece of it crashed in Australia, and Australia fined NASA for littering.
Wow.
Big old solar panels.
Wait till I talk to Peter.
Yeah, I think it was like $500 or something like that.
Now, were these at the Hamfest?
No, these, I can't describe the scale of this, but it went all the way to the ceiling. These are huge. Not for sale, I don't think. And lots of engines. There's lots of rocket engines there, mock-ups and things if you want to see them, of course. There's plenty there to see. And a model of the space shuttle here. That was pretty big, too. Some neat pictures there of some of the bolts for the launch pad. And speaking of the computer, here is the computer on the Apollo and that ring. There's some tech on there that I found interesting. That's actually a computer or a module, a unit, and the gyroscopes. Some of those connectors, man, look at those. And there's some memory. There's a memory circuit, an entire one. What was it? 100K. They had that other piece that you saw was 100K of RAM, by the way. And this is where you can look in real close at it. They had a little magnifying glass, which I don't think came out too well in the photographs.
You can see the little toroids, though.
Yeah, exactly. They were looped. It's all a matrix. There you go, 114K, y'all. Bits. And there's another mock-up of that ring right outside of that computer. They actually go through it in pretty detail. And this is pretty cool. You know how the swing out arms, where you see them swing it out to the launch pad to get the astronauts? They let you walk on it, so you can actually see what it's like to what they saw as they're walking up to this thing. And that's them at the end of that platform getting ready to get onto the spacecraft. They got a bunch of people there getting them ready. And one of my favorites are a replica of the lunar rover, because I don't think they took it back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they left them up there, what I understood.
Kind of hard to drive them back. No bridge. Some antennas, I take it.
Yeah.
That might be VHF or UHF or HF. What you think?
I think it's medium wave.
Medium?
I don't know.
Looks like a delta loop of some kind.
Now, Emile, since you work in the space program, why gold? Why do they have the gold foil on there?
I'm thinking, I have no idea.
That's good enough answer.
It's government, and it costs more than silver.
Yeah.
It has an enormous clock.
I used to know that answer about that foil because I made a model when I was a kid of the lunar lander, and it had this gold tinfoil stuff.
Lots of different artifacts here. All the missions, patches, and peoples. And good little board of the actual flight paths. And there was one in the lunar lander. You could actually land it right here. It was like a computerized simulation.
Yeah, they got one of those down at the Stennis Space Center.
And I tried. It's hard to see the scale of this, man. And no matter how you take that picture, you can't get it all in. It's huge.
Is that the Saturn V overhead?
Yes, the real. Yes, with all its stages, and it goes all the way to the end of everything I just showed you. All the stages, all the engines, give you a look inside. I thought that was a neat story. Some of those engines, those cones, are actually coolant. There's coolant running through them, right? Those tubes, you see it's kind of made of, monster rocket engines. There you go. That's a good view of that one of the Saturn V or the inside of them. Don't want to be on that side.
Yeah, this is a robot from Lost in Space.
It's Robbie the engine. And then outside too, there was stuff. It's like some compression or high compression fans for jet engines or rocket engines. I didn't climb on it. And this is moving into another exhibit they had. It's a control room they had set up, and it's for the basically like different modules of the space station that you see in now. Some of the food at the bottom there, couldn't pass that up, and their menus and what they ate and what they eat. No crickets, I don't think.
Did you have a drink of Tang when you were there?
No, they had the space drinks and the freeze dried everything, but I didn't.
I was going to say that looks like a duplexer, but it's not.
No, that's actually a urine processor.
Yes, this is they drink their own pee from the AP you saw earlier. That one, yes, this is the AP without the P, and I think that's a quarters where somebody lives or works, and a view. I think a lot of us have seen some of these pictures of the guys standing in there, and ladies, and they have a speed limit apparently. Lots of control pieces, parts. I guess that's the an arm. And here you go, George. This was one of my favorite things. I had to pick it just to see all the different type of connectors and wondering who's got adapters for all these things.
Yeah, that's like military style connectors.
I used to have to solder those 40-pin connectors, make cables. They were a lot of fun.
I'm not sure what this was.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
It looks like it. It was in there.
It's like really short, judging by the feet down there.
Oh, that's my shoes. It's a reflection.
Okay.
And there you go. This is like the modules. This is what we were just walking through. You can see it from the outside. Different modules that make all this stuff up. And here's the boosters and the tanks, solid rocket fuel tanks that they make down here in New Orleans, down at the Michoud facility. Back when the only thing is the space shuttle was missing.
Yeah,
it's usually on top of it, but I think they must have it down doing something somewhere.
Yeah. Weird.
I think this is one of their trainers where they have controls that are similar in it, and pilots fly them. And there it is, the little mock-up of a landing strip with another one of the trainers to the left there.
I was going to say, that's a pretty short runway.
Yeah, it was just a mock-up. And that was that. It was a great time, and my dad really enjoyed seeing that. I think he took more pictures than I did.
Yeah. It's a pretty awesome place
I'll
to go.
Go check that out if I ever get to Huntsville.
You'll get there one day.
So the last piece of that was a hour-long narrated show from NASA on the James Webb Space Telescope. I don't know if you guys have ever been to this planetarium at this place, but it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's huge, like probably bigger than what we're used to in IMAX theaters. It's huge, and it's all the way around you with extreme stadium seating. But the way they give you this information, they just started this one, I think, with the James Webb Telescope show. It's worth seeing.
Did you see the dive tank?
No, I saw things about it at the ticket thing, but we did not see that.
Oh, it's really cool. It's over near the cafeteria area.
Okay.
But it's really cool. They've filmed some movies in there.
Nice.
Anyway, it's really neat.
Neat stuff, Emile. I've been there. It's been a few years. Wayne and I went one year, and it was like they were about to close, so we just got in kind of like at the last minute. We really didn't have a tour guide. We just kind of got to wander around and look for a little while.
Yeah, we went and spent the whole day there.
Yeah.
Went to we went to a movie in there, and I think that we went to the planetarium stuff and everything. Went out. There was little area with rides out back. I don't know if that's still there, but we
it
went
is.
through all
It
that
is.
stuff. Everything. We did every
There's
inch of it.
kind of a theme forming here because I don't know if any of you have been to the National Aerospace Museum in Dayton, Ohio, but it seems wherever these big hamfests are, there's always a great display of either rockets or aircraft. And for those who've never been to the National Aerospace Museum in Dayton, Ohio, you're really missing out. You need almost 2 days to see everything. They have an IMAX theater.
I went to the space thing in Smithsonian. It was really cool.
Join us. Wow. When is it going to be? I guess maybe next weekend is the next Ham College.
It would be right on time.
September the 1st. So.
Yeah, to get everything back on schedule.
Yeah.
So the next Amateur Logic is probably the 15th of September.
That sounds about right. So y'all join us then for those two, and thanks for everyone watching tonight, and all you who are going to watch once this is posted. Any final thoughts tonight?
Yeah, don't forget to join us for the LogicNet Tuesday night at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So anyway, thanks to Tom for putting that on. I think Marty might be one of the net controls. I'm not sure about the second one. But anyway, the usual places. So anyway, check that out. We always send a notice out, or actually Tom's been sending it out right before the net too for a reminder. So hope to catch some of you over there.
Email. Yeah, we know.
Keep it cheap.
I guess I'll take you off the probation list, Mike.
I have no words of wisdom other than stay cool, everyone. I wish we could send a little bit of our cool weather down your way.
I wish you could too. We could certainly use it.
If you do, we'll send you some nice warm weather back up there in February.
Perfect.
Yep. All right, it's a deal. All right, 7-3, everyone.
7-3.
Yep, 7-3, everybody. Good night.